Hey everybody, just wanted to go over AYTU and CVM today. Just going to recap two tickers and go over my trades, my thought process around both names, and probably a little bit of a slower video. Just really tired and worn out, so I can barely think straight, but I know I've been kind of slacking on the videos and I wanted to put one out. So let's see. CVM had news yesterday, coronavirus related news. Had a ridiculous spike to 22. Came down, pretty much sold off all day. So today what I was thinking was it could possibly bounce. And because I'm just thinking, okay, it essentially went from $22 to 13. Why can't it bounce and maybe hit 16? So I was looking for a bounce on it. So in the morning it made some TA that I really like. Map it out. It's just really nice VWAP reclaim and triangle pattern. Get a surge out of the triangle. This is when I take a break even trade on it, and then I re-enter 500 shares at 1338 and 500 shares at 1348, which puts me at 1343 average, 1,000 shares. We start to get an uptrend. It's looking really good, and what happens is it forms a higher low wedge. If this was meant to break out or test 14, for example, this would have surged to the upside, but what happened? It got weak and sold off. So I was able to analyze the tape in real time. Not an exact science, but I made my best guess, and my guess was right, and I cut it at 1370. So that locked in $270 of profit. I ended up taking a re-entry, kind of on this, I'm not really sure what to call it, but I thought that it may flag out of this and retest the 1375 highs. So that's why I bought 500 shares at 1365 or 1366. And then when it stuffed down on me, I got out of the way at 1356. So I only re-entered with 500 shares because I really didn't like it that much, and I actually remember in real time thinking to myself, hey, this is not an entry. I don't know why I was telling myself that, but I said, this is not an entry. It's not an entry. It's not that good. You should wait longer. I didn't wait, didn't listen to my my gut feeling, and so I lost $50 back on the name. And if you know, the most important rule of trading is cut your losses quickly. If somebody told me that CVM would drop to 9.15, I mean, I wouldn't have even believed them. I would have said that's nonsense, right? I can't believe that CVM sold off the way that it sold off. I cannot believe it. But this is why it's important to not guess. You don't want to guess for the bottom. You saw me a few days in a row kind of guessing bottoms and getting burned. Well, guess what? Today, I didn't try to guess the bottom. I didn't re-enter trying to guess a bottom, and I didn't get burned. It never developed again in a way that would allow me to re-enter for further upside. It just never happened. It just kept selling off, no development. Sure, there's a dip buy in here that possibly could have been a play, but I wasn't really too comfortable with it, and I don't even think I was watching it at this time. So I was busy with other stuff by then, but yeah, moral of the story, stick to your plan, cut your losses, because it can save you some serious money. Alright. And then I took a re-entry as a dip buy. Essentially, I mean, this entry was basically just by feel. So it's going to be hard for me to explain this. But all I can really say is I looked at it. I saw the ridiculous sell-off. I saw that this candle here was kind of a small candle compared to what it had done previously. Alright, so normally it comes down a bit, right down a bit, huge sell-off. The chunks were just really big, and then this time when it should have had a big chunk, it didn't. It didn't have a big chunk. It went from 925 to 913. And so when I saw this, I looked over at my second monitor and I saw that it did that and held for 3 minutes. I'm telling you, I had about 10 seconds to react. I saw it. I went, holy crap. I put in my order and I clicked buy. And it happened so fast. I mean, I almost missed it by maybe, like, if I was a second later or 2 seconds, 3 seconds later, I would have completely missed it. This was crazy. I got really lucky to catch it. It's just one of those things, you turn your head, you see a chart that looks beautiful, and you go for it. So I pretty much get instant upside, and you know what? I take a conservative win. If you can even call it conservative, right? But I had a feeling that this could produce a very, very large bounce, so I took it for what I got in at 925 and I got out at 1041, I believe. So I took it for $1.15 a share. That was a really nice win. And probably one of my favorite trades that I've made this year. You know, when it comes to me and favorite trades, it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with it's just something about this trade I just liked so much. I don't know why. I just don't really nail dip buys that often. And this was so nice. So probably one of my favorite trades of the year. Alright, let's go to AYTU. So this had morning coronavirus news. I saw it in the 60s. I most likely should have taken 1,000 shares just to see. If I would have taken 1,000 shares, it would have worked out really well. You know, I'm bad at pre-market. I don't know. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. Alright, let's go over my trades. So, my first trade, I lost a little bit. I took 2,000 shares at 121. 121.9. I sold it at 121. Okay. Let's see. It's just a trend play. Yeah. So what happened is it was holding an uptrend. I bought it because I thought we would surge over VWAP. It didn't happen. I sold it to protect myself. Now, when it breaks the trend, there should be a massive sell-off to retest 108 support, and that didn't happen. So instead of selling off, it just holds. And so that made me think, well, if it doesn't break down, I think we're going to test the VWAP reclaim again. So I just jump back in. I take 5,000 shares. Now this is, you gotta understand, I waited 3 minutes. I was analyzing tape. This wasn't just a random jump in. I mean, it was really calculated. And the thing is, with like the patterns that I play and the TA setups and the different shapes and all this stuff, like there's so many examples of shapes being created that look like the shapes that I play, but then they sell off and they crack hard or they fail, and it's like, I don't even know what I'm trying to get across here. It's just, you just gotta be careful, I guess, is what I'm saying. I was very careful with this 5,000 shares at 119, and when I bought it, I was risking 118. So I was going to try to risk 1 cent a share on my entry. If it had slippage, I could have lost 2 cents a share, and I could have maybe lost $100. And you know what? Anything could have happened. So if somebody dumped 1,000,000 shares, hey, maybe I would have lost more. But I felt that this was an appropriate buy. I took it. I got the VWAP reclaim I was looking for. My profit target was a squeeze, which essentially thesis was this. So you have the downtrend, right? It breaks out of the downtrend. So once it changes the overall trend and reclaims VWAP, my goal was for a squeeze to test pre-market highs. I was looking to sell it in the 180s, or basically 180 test is what I was going for with my 5,000 shares. So that didn't happen. It got weak on me. I recognized it was getting weak on me, and I locked in whatever profits I could. Still a pretty good win. Let's see, 11 cents a share. What, $550 win on that? I mean, it was a good win, don't get me wrong, but I really did have high hopes for this. I wanted 180. So, I think this is a really good example of still locking in profits, but abandoning your trading plan, but when it's appropriate, like when you feel it's weak, and you could change your trading thesis and be like, okay, guess I'm wrong, and I'm gonna get out with some profit instead of waiting for it to just come down and hit my stop. I just really like how I played it. I like that I locked in 550 on that. However, the rest of the day is not very good for me on the name. I don't trade it very well. Not very happy about how I traded it. Yeah. I'm going to analyze it, just show what you could have possibly done. So I don't think I would ever take a dip buy in this area once it breaks trend, because that suggests we're going to get a big sell-off, which we did, and it sold off to 97. That was pretty intense. A possible entry that you could have taken, or I could have taken, is it forms a wedge and breaks to the upside. I could have tried to get back in around 106, risking 103. And that trading plan would have worked pretty well because it never hit the risk and it had major upside. So in a perfect world, I would have nailed the 106 confirmation entry and just held. But, you know, I'm not that good. So what I ended up doing was waiting a bit longer. I was distracted. I was trading other things. This is what I came into. So when I saw this again, it was in this area. I saw it surging to like 120. I was like, well, I can't really buy it right now. Then I saw the sell off and it sold off to 110 or 111. Kind of like surged down. But it quickly reclaimed the trend with support. And so that's when I started thinking, okay, I'm just going to take a 117 entry right here and see if I can get an uptrend. So it does happen. I get the uptrend. It reclaims VWAP 129. And then I get this really harsh sell-off candle back down to my entry. So I'm going to tell you right now, my thought process on AYTU was too short-sighted. After that sell-off and my entry got tested, instead of like remaining logical and just being like, okay, well, I'm going to risk 115 and I'll just hold it. If I get the squeeze, I'll bank, so I might as well just risk 2 cents a share and just hold and see what happens, right? Well, no, not right. That's not what I did. That's not what I did. I don't know why, but essentially it popped and it looked like VWAP was going to get stuffed again. So I abandoned my trading plan and cut at 123. So here's the tricky part, right? The tricky part is I abandoned my trading plan in the morning, but that was excellent. I abandoned my trading plan in the afternoon, and it turns out to be awful. So this, these are things that I go back and I analyze and I meditate on it. Really, I meditate on it, right? I just think about it. Just think about it and wonder. I mean, AYTU showed it's a choppy ticker, so some tickers you just can't get away with this. You can't get away with how I traded it. And what I mean by that is it's not going to make your life easy. It will come back and test your entry. It will stop you out. It will, you know what I mean? Like it's not an easy play. You're not going to get a no risk entry. It's not going to be easy and feel great, you know? This is the type of ticker that you're just not going to get it. And instead of accepting and embracing that, I was too worried, I guess. I was too worried about what I was risking instead of. So on the scale of emotional and logical, I believe I became too emotional on the ticker. Anyways, then we got some re-entries. See if I can go down, find it. Yes, you see my 117. I got out at 123. Got back in 128.8. Got out at 130. Got back in at 131.8, which happened to be really good. That was this entry right here. So this was my break-even trade. I was unsure about it. I thought it would need more time. I thought it would test VWAP, and if it held VWAP, I figured it would set up again and I could re-enter it. And sure enough, it did test VWAP. It bounced off of it, set up again. I got my entry confirmation. I bought it in 131.8. Got an instant surge. I locked in profits at 142. And then the thing that I regret the most about today So I'll tell you what I did here. After I locked in profits at 142, I put a limit order in. I put my limit order at 132. I said I'm going to hedge my bet. I sold it at 142. Let's re-enter 10 cents below where I locked in profits before. So I like my sell. I had my limit order in at 132. It was in. I was ready to buy it. Something came over me and I took my limit order off. I don't know why I did that, but I took it off. It was a perfect spot to hedge my bet. Absolutely perfect spot. And I was right, and I would have got filled. And I took my order off. Sure enough, that entry would have been, great. Now that being said, I probably, most likely would have sold it in the 150s just for an extra $400 here. And then maybe I would have re-entered, right? I can't tell you what would have happened, but I can tell you, alright, what I'm basically saying is I hate how I traded this. To sum up all of my rambling, essentially, I just hate how I traded this. I made money on it, sure. But at some point in time, I got emotional instead of logical. And I forgot, what is capable. So I would have never caught this. I just know I wouldn't have. I know myself too well. There's no way I would have caught this. However, I would have or should have caught the 180s. Okay, 180s was my game plan from the morning. It was a spot that I felt strongly it could reach, and it's the spot I wanted to lock in profits at. So anyways, that's my analysis of it. Don't get amazing opportunities like this every day, so it's difficult to look back at this, to be honest with you. It is difficult. And it's less about the money and more about just failing at the game. I could care less about the money. I care about the money, but what I'm trying to say is I want to trade well. I want to be able to predict where things are going, and I want to be able to nail those moves. It's the craft. It's like the craft of trading. And I disappoint myself when I trade this poorly on something with so much upside. Anyways, should probably move on. Although I don't mind rambling about it. The more I ramble about this, and the more the chart's up, and the more I look at it, take it in, like I said, I meditate on my trades. If you're saying get on with it right now, no, you don't want to say that, because the more you just look at this stuff, the more you just soak up the TA, look at the chart, look at the flow, how it flowed, how it came together, the upside. Okay, the more you just soak it in, better off you'll be. That's why I take my time when I go over these, because you just gotta take it in. I traded it bad, I made mistakes, but it's okay, because in the future I'll trade it better. Alright, this video is actually way too long, so the other trades that I made, okay, so NVAX, it bottomed out. I like the TA. The TA that started for me while I was liking it, okay, made a triangle after a large sell-off. So I took the trend change, and the trend change led to some nice upside. So, I don't even know how much money I made. How much did I make? I don't know. Maybe 700 total. I can't even tell you. But basically just scalps. And that's gonna do it for me. I made $2,950. Best trading day of my career. Feels good, but I could have done a hell of a lot better. So, I seem like I'm hard on myself, but that's trading. You either strive to succeed and get better, or you stagnate. And I don't want to get stale. I want to keep growing as a trader. I want to get better. I want to always push myself to be better. Alright, I'm really tired, so, wow. Sorry, if this video was painful to watch, I apologize. I am so tired. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you got something out of the video. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.